everybody, Stacy here with Pitch Deck Buyer, and I'm so glad you guys have joined us for another one of our pitch hacks of the week this week. If you haven't been with us before, we cover tips and tricks on pitching, pitch decks, sales decks, investor decks, and live presentations. So that means if you're a startup looking for funding or an established company looking for new customers, maybe you're even in an accelerator or an incubator program, all of you guys can find value here at Pitch Hacks. So let's hop right into it. What's this week's pitch hack of the week this week? This week we have how to write a pitch script. So one caveat I would say before we get started that I want to make sure everybody knows is that if we're going to write a pitch script, if we're going to plan out how we're going to talk through our pitch, we don't want to say the exact same thing that we wrote down every single time. We don't want to practice it so to a T on that script. Because if we do that, when we get very, very nervous up on stage, when we miss just one word, we're gonna have a really hard time getting back on script. So I don't want you to read a script. I don't want you to practice that exact script. So never, never, ever have, your paper and be reading your script, and never, ever, ever really practice every single exact word. It's not a good fit. You wanna make sure you're telling a story and you're talking to your audience, and we're doing so in a way that is conversational, and that if we missed one word, we're still gonna be able to move on. If you miss one word when you've practiced something to a T, you've memorized it, you're gonna have a really hard time getting back on track. So how do we write our pitch script? Well, when we're preparing to pitch either to potential investors or at a pitch event or something like that, maybe to a potential client, we wanna know what it is we're gonna say and when we're gonna say it. Usually we're building our script at around the same time or based off of some slides. So you might have a presentation deck or something that's gonna be a visual aid behind you as you present. And in that you're gonna have kind of a flow and a storyline and next steps already sort of laid out. If you're building your deck at the same time you're building your script, then you're gonna wanna build that together. So you wanna think about what you wanna say, what's going to engage the audience. In the beginning of a presentation, we want to tell a story, we want to grab their attention, we want to use tangible examples as much as we can, and as the presentation goes on, we can start to layer in more information and more content and more numbers and things to back up what we've said in the beginning of the presentation. But we want to think about that flow of story and how we're going to keep someone engaged the entire time through a presentation. When you're writing your script, I want you first to take an attempt at writing out what you're going to say exactly. You're going to write it out, whole sentences and all, the entire thing. Then what I want you to do is read that script, put it down, face down, right? Video yourself going through what you just remembered saying. What's gonna happen is the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna start talking in actual sentences and the way we converse versus the way we write, because the way we write is a little different than the way we talk. It's a little more formal and a little less easy to follow when we're listening to somebody. You're gonna write that down, you're gonna put it down, you're gonna practice it for a video, you're gonna listen to that video and hear yourself go through it. Fine tune it, make changes, figure out where you wanna make it better. That's what you're gonna wanna do for the first attempt. Then we're gonna write it down again, and we're gonna do it this time in more bullet points and sections. Those flow really nicely with slides usually, so if you're doing your script at the same time as you're doing your slides, before or after, that's what you can think about as sort of bullet points and sections of slides. Never actually have bullet points on your slides, by the way, just bullet points in your script. Put that one face down, and we're gonna present again in front of a video. We're gonna video ourselves presenting, we're gonna record that, we're gonna listen to it, and we're gonna fine tune our speech from there. Then the last step I want you to do is take those same notes that we had before with the bullet points, and we're gonna shorten them up into just really short bullet points. Really, really short, just the keywords, maybe just the key metrics that we keep forgetting, whatever it is. That's the level of bullet points or information or script that I'm okay with you reading and preparing with. That's it. Not the full list of bullet points and not the full, written out one, right? The one where you wrote it out in full sentences. Don't want you to practice those. I want you to practice with this one, which is very short bullet points, just the main points in the order that you want to hit them in. So you can read and practice that as much as you can, practice, 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 but every time you say it, it's gonna be a little bit different, it's gonna come out a little bit different, but you're gonna still say the same thing, and that's what the important thing is. It's gonna be conversational, it's gonna flow, it's gonna feel comfortable, and it's gonna convey the information you wanna convey, it's gonna hit the points you need to hit, because that's what you've been practicing, the main points that you need to hit. How you get between the points, less important. So that's how you write a script. If you're gonna be using a comfort monitor or something where you're able to see the note section of your PowerPoint or your presentation, tool, if you're able to see that while you're actually presenting, like a cue card or something like that, what you want to do is make sure you use those bullet points and not the full information, not the full sentences. So you can copy and paste those bullet points into the particular slides. So you have this comfort monitor that has the text, maybe the key piece of information that you're not remembering. That way you don't have to look back at your slides or anything like that, or you don't have notes on you. It's more of like this comfort monitor that's sort of right here, so no one really knows you're glancing at it when you're, talking to the audience, okay? So think about that, and think about putting your script, the bulleted version of your script, into the notes section of your presentation if you so have that opportunity. Make sure you practice it enough though that you don't need that, because you may not always have that opportunity. There's a lot of places that don't do that anymore, or have moved to LCD monitors as the way that they present instead of the large screens, so you can't do the split screen as easily usually on those things. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully that answers your question on how to write a pitch script. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you have any thoughts or comments on how you write pitch scripts, maybe you agree or disagree with what I've shared today, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you have any ideas for upcoming pitch hacks, we have a link below as well. And I'd love to see your questions so that I can answer them in an upcoming pitch hack video. Thanks again for joining us. We do a new pitch hack video every single week, so give us a little thumbs up or subscribe and you can find out more about us. Again, I'm Stacy with Pitch Deck Fire, and I hope to see you guys here again soon. Happy pitching!